let's do some challenges. We're on OverTheWire, overthewire.org, and we have some Linux challenges. You see here this Bandit. So I'm going to click here on Bandit and start with level 0. So for level 0, we need to open a terminal and we're going to log into a Linux computer. To do so, we'll use a tool called SSH. It's a command line program. And then connect to this address on this port. And of course, to log in, they're not just going to log in anyone. We need a username and password. So this is the username and this is the password. So let's open the terminal. Okay, once you have a terminal open, a command line interface, whether that's a regular terminal on Mac, on Linux, or PowerShell on Windows, you can use the commands to interact with the computer. Now, of course, we're going to interact with a Linux computer. So we'll type SSH to connect to the Linux computer. Then the address, so that's bandit.labs.overthewire.org. And then -P for the port number, and then 2220. So they asked us this, we type yes. And you'll see we should then tell the password. And by default it's Frank, which is my name. So we're not going to do that. We're going to say the username here is bandit0. So like email, we say bandit0 @ and then followed by the address. You'll see then it asks the bandit0 password, which is bandit0. And you'll see we are now connected. If I check the system, this is the Linux system, Linux Ubuntu. We are now connected to this over-the-wire computer. So let's go to level 1. You'll see here, level 1. And for level 1, they say the password for the next level. So in over-the-wire, you have many different levels, and each time you need a password to go to the next level. So the password in the next level is stored in a file called readme, and is located in the home directory. So we already logged in. However, you say use this password to log into Bandit1. So once we have this password, we'll need to connect to the next one using the next password. Anyway, the password is stored in the file readme. So let's see if we can find it. You'll see there's a bunch of commands here. So for example, there's the ls command that lists the file and folders. And you'll see we directly have the readme file. There's the cd command, you can change directory. There's the cut command, which reads a file. There's the file command, it tells you the file type. So if I do file readme, most likely it's going to tell you it's a text file. You'll see here ASCII text, it's a text file. Now, can be useful. Sometimes files can be all kind of formats. There's the du command, disk usage. It's just going to tell you something about the disk space. And the find command finds things on the Linux system. So in this case, we know there's this file, readme.txt, and to read it, we type cat readme. So cat has nothing to do with cats. It's simply gonna output the contents of the file. So if we do cat readme, you'll see congratulations. And then what we find here is the password. So with this password, these are not saved automatically, so you may want to write them down or to save them. Then we need to log in. They say use this password to log into Bandit1 using SSH. So we can do SSH. Let's exit this one. We will do SSH, and then instead of Bandit0, we'll go to Bandit1. And we know the password, that's this one. Right-click, copy, paste. And you'll see we are now Bandit1 on that computer. We have now progressed to the next level. So these are some of the basic Linux commands. ls you probably would use all the time, list files and folders, cd, changing directories. Linux has many different directories, so you want to cd to change directory a lot of times. And cat can be useful if you use the command line a lot. Linux stores all its configuration files in text files. So if you use the cat command, you can see what is in those text files right away. Which, for example, in these scenarios, we log into another computer. We don't have a text editor at hand. We are simply logged in this command line interface. So then you can read files without any text editor. It can be quite useful, this cat command. The others, I'd say they are less commonly used. Find command, sometimes you might use it, but most likely you won't use that a lot. And the first three, they are really used all the time. Now, these passwords on OverTheWire, they are not saved automatically. So if you don't save them yourself, you have to start all over again from the previous rooms. So you may want to save the passwords. Keep in mind, passwords occasionally change. So by the time you watch this video, maybe the password has changed. So make sure to just do the steps instead of copying and pasting the passwords, so you can play around with the Linux commands and get better at Linux.